O3b is a new satellite operator. We are in the process of launching a number of satellites, a constellation of MEO orbit satellites working on Ka-band. So we have launched 4 satellites recently. At the end of June, we are launching 4 other satellites at the end of Q1, and we expect to launch another 4 satellites at the end of Q4 2014. And with those satellites, the idea behind O3b was to provide connectivity to the unconnected. So we are going to start doing that very soon, but we plan to continue doing that globally. So the concept, it doesn't apply only to Africa, although we are here today in South Africa and we are targeting the African market here, but it's really, the idea was to provide communication in developing countries. So we are covering the Middle East, we are covering the Indian subcontinent, Southeast Asia, Asia Pacific, and Latin America as well. So I kind of started covering that already, but we are a constellation and we are MEO. So we are going to be the first satellite operator at 8,000 kilometers, which is roughly a fourth of the distance of the traditional operators, GEO satellites. We are going to be Ka-band only, but because we are in MEO, we are moving on the equator. We have the possibility to grow pretty much endlessly. So technically, I think that we are limited once we reach more than 100 satellites. So up to that point, the growth will be determined by market conditions. But with this constellation that is lower, the latency is much more comparable to what you experience on terrestrial technology. So that's what we promote ourselves many times as the fiber on the sky. The latency is low, and the other aspect is that working on Ka-band with large transponders and at that altitude, it allows us to offer a lot of throughput through our satellites. So we can establish links of up to 1 gigabit, and it's something that has never been heard about in satellite before, just one point-to-point circuits. We recently started testing this with some of our customers. Right now we don't have a commercial service yet, but we launched 4 satellites and we are in the process of testing them. And we have a customer in the Cook Island, for example, where we ran a link, full duplex link of 810 megabits. It's more than double, I would say probably more than triple what has been done in satellite before. The last thing that makes us different is being a constellation, we can achieve economies of scale as we grow, and that allows us to have a very competitive price. So we typically price ourselves significantly lower than traditional satellite technologies or, well, services. We just made made a press release today in the show. It's a customer in Somalia, Somtel. So they have committed to a few hundred megabits in a market that was slow for a number of years, but in the last year, since they've reached more political stability and there have been some energy discoveries there, it's a hot market in Africa. There's a lot of investment going there. There's a lot of people going back to the market, but there's very little infrastructure. And we are helping them to move forward and catch up with the rest of the world at this point. So we signed them. It's the second customer we signed in Somalia, and we expect more to come from that market. But we are very excited about that market. So you are absolutely right. We see a clear benefit for people that are unconnected in developing markets, but there's people that are unconnected or have challenging access to connectivity in developed markets. We signed a contract with Royal Caribbean earlier in the year, and we've been expanding that contract. Basically, they are the largest cruise operator in the world, and what they want, a challenge that they had is that for all these wealthy customers that go into the cruises that have access to broadband at their houses and are used to being connected all the time, they arrive to their holidays there, but they want to send information to their families, they want to share with them what they're experiencing. But some of these business people also have to continue like searching, connecting with work on occasional basis, and they were not being able to do that in the cruises because the connectivity was so poor. So they really wanted to change that, and they contracted with us for the largest cruises, 3 largest cruises that can carry up to 8,000 people, and we are going to be delivering 500 megabits to each one of those. It's a big, really big game changer for them. It's been gone from less than 20 megabits to 500, so it's many times more than what they used to get. They plan to potentially attack new segments as well, with the target new segments in the cruise industry with this service. But they want to differentiate themselves from the rest. So that's just one example, but there's many other applications and many potential opportunities with mining and oil companies operating either in developing countries or in the developed world. Many of them have operations in challenging places, even if it's offshore the US coast. They still need satellite communication there, but they had a lot of restrictions because of the latency. They cannot run some of applications, or because of the limitation on the bandwidth, they cannot have the speeds that they need. So many of the potential customers in the oil and gas and the mining industry are very excited about the low latency that we can offer, and they say, okay, fantastic. We can now run applications like Citrix applications, EIRP, and improve the quality of the voice communications from the day-to-day life for the guys that are in these remote sites. In our specific case, well, I mean, we can provide well-trunk communications, so high-speed communications. So we've been focusing on applications that require the highest speed and that benefit from low latency. So in some cases it's one or the other. So international connectivity in countries is one of these key applications. So we sell to the ISPs and to the telcos. Certain types of industry, like oil and gas and mining, that benefit from the low latency is another target for us. The cruise industry and maritime, to improve the services, is a niche industry for us. But we believe that the biggest growth for us will come from a combination of some government programs to bring broadband connectivity and security to countries. So there's a lot of investment in Southeast Asia, in Latin America, to break the digital divide and really bring this broadband connectivity to places. And the other area for massive growth that we expect to have is with 3G, 4G backhaul. So at this point, the operators have been using satellite to backhaul the GSM, basically voice traffic, but now they need to start providing broadband, 3G, 4G in those remote areas. And they are having a real challenge with the latency and with the prices for that. With our lower prices and with the latencies we can provide, they can close a business case and really offer 3G, 4G communications to all these people in those areas that are unlikely to have access to terrestrial broadband or even a computer, and will most likely start using broadband, accessing broadband using their telephone phone, their smartphones. And as the price of the smartphones are going down, there's really more and more demand for broadband in those areas. So we expect to have a significant part of our capacity in the years to come that will be used for that application. So it's a combination of factors. So working on Ka-band already helps. It's big transponders, higher frequency, which allows some interesting spectral efficiency, so we can deliver more megabits per megahertz. But also the fact that we have a constellation helps a lot, because we are basically achieving economies of scale. So as we grow, we order more satellites that are similar, if not the same as the one that we've ordered, and which is very unique for the satellite industry. So every time that a traditional satellite operator orders something, it's a new satellite, it's new components, and it makes the price very high. In our case, we can negotiate a good discounts because we are ordering the same piece with and push the manufacturers to reduce the prices. The other advantage there is that the satellites are relatively small. So we are launching 4 satellites at a time with each rocket. Again, satellites traditionally have launched 1 satellite at a time, and the launching vehicle is quite expensive. So this combination of these 3 factors allows us to keep the cost under control, and therefore we can offer competitive prices to the customers.